Hello Epic 7, and welcome to day number 5 of Ancient Inheritance. We have a more complete map of floor number 3. Here's that map, and here it is with pathing that my guild is using. You don't have to use this map, of course. You can build your own, just for reference. Now, I will be out of town tomorrow and most of Sunday, so I'll be a little bit late with the day number 7 video, and the day number 6 video just won't exist. Now, we last left off at the Bubbly Eye Lich. What a gross name. The guild has finished it off so we can progress on to island number 3. Here is the pathing I set out for island number 3. I'm going to slide off target just a little bit to grab the scroll up here. I've not had much luck with scrolls. I keep getting the 400 EXP and 2 art charm scrolls, so hopefully this will be different. Oh, come on. Okay, for the 9th time I get the exact same scroll, so I guess I will take my 2 equipment charms and 400 experience. I get a little more than 400 experience because I've got the relic that boosts that. Okay, moving up, there's a treasure chest right over here. It's on the way, and although I think you will get enough currency from the treasure chests on floor number 4 to clear the shop, just in case. I'm grabbing 1 or 2 on floor number 3, so I'll snag this one. Get some experience, some leaves, and some currency. Now let's see. I got a pile of provisions, and I think I've got enough for the next 2 fights, so I'm going to slide up north here and grab this scroll. I mean, surely this one will be something good and not the 400 experience 2 weapon charms one again, right? Oh, good lord. Okay, I got the you can't use anything except the kill 2 of your units option, so that's freaking awesome. Hopefully it doesn't take out an important unit like Camilla or Ken. And it takes out Ken. Well, that's going to make the Golem fight a little bit difficult because Ken is really good in the Golem fight. In fact, Ken and Sirmia can darn near take that all the way to the end. We'll talk about the Golem fight in a minute. Here is why you don't do Ancient Inheritance without coffee. If I clicked on that little bell and collected the experience points, I would level up to level 9 and I would have room for this relic. Instead, I look at it thinking I'll just replace something, and nothing here is any good. The gold kettle is weak sauce on floor 3. I'm not doing normal monster fights till floor 4. I'm not working on knights. So just a big old waste of 5 provisions. So we could title this episode Tristen Wulf Wastes Provisions. So the Golem fight. Ken is probably best in slot for the Golem fight. And if you're mainlining knights, you can cheese it with a solo Chaos Inquisitor if I'm not mistaken. But since we aren't doing knights and we don't have Ken, we're going to build a different team. And this is still a really good team. In fact, I think it's very likely a full clear team if I'd gotten a chance to. But other guild members started hitting it. Regardless, I think you'll see its stability. So I'm taking Sirmia as our DPS unit. I'm going to throw Ed in there. Normally I like Ken in that spot for additional sources of defense break and self-healing, but Ed works, and since the boss debuffs, he'll counter and get us some extra damage. We'll run Rowana for a constant source of healing, and we will run Camilla on Benimara's artifact for extra damage. The reason we run Rowana is because the Golem's gimmick is every 3rd time you hit it, it counterattacks. Now the counterattack strips and can defense break, so for that reason we're running Ed because he can't easily be stuck with a debuff. We're using Benimara's artifact for a constant source of attack buff on Camilla since there's strips. I'm running Stella Harpa on Rowana for additional source of cleansing to get rid of those defense breaks. And I've got Sirmia on just a DPS artifact. So every time the Golem is hit, you'll see the rock debris times 2, rock debris times 3. When it hits times 3, the Golem activates a counterattack, strips all of your buffs, and has a chance to defense break. So be aware when you activate Sirmia's S2 that you've got at least 1 or 2 rounds of hits before the Golem takes a turn, or he just strips the greater attack buff away. And here comes the hit, and there goes the greater attack buff. This is why you want Camilla to be on Benimara's artifact, so you've got a stable source of attack buff for her, so her dual attacks work. If you do not have Benimara's artifact, I'd recommend running Kitty Clarissa in Camilla's place, because Kitty Clarissa's dual attacks can't be stripped. Rowana tops off with some healing, and I can go ahead and use the S2 and put an attack buff on Sirmia. Even though I've got an attack buff on... Well, I didn't have an attack buff on myself, so that was convenient. Benny's artifact didn't proc. Now, dual attacks and extra attacks don't count towards the ×3. The 3 hits have to be 3 initiated hits. So you notice there was no rock debris off of that dual attack. So we're already at 300k damage, and we really haven't taken much damage ourselves. Rowana's healing is really nice. Now, the boss's damage does start to ramp up a little beyond Rowana's healing. You can risk the debuffs and take off Stella Harpa, and you can put on Shamadra Staff to make Rowana's healing even stronger. It probably is a good idea for the long run. If there's no defense break, you burn Camilla. And it's always nice when that S1EE procs and gives you the double hit on Sirmia. We're approaching 700k with this hit. And another guild member jumped in, started hitting with me, which is kind of a shame. His provisions were a little bit wasted, but he'll get some participation bonus points for being a part of this fight. He'll get a little extra rewards. I'm not sure how far I could have taken this. I got it in my head that this could possibly be a full clear team, but if not, it's at very least going to do 60 to 70% of the Golem's HP bar if you run this team. So the Golem's down, it is time to move on to the 4th island, and here is the mistake that I made before. If I had collected these rewards earlier, I would have leveled up. That takes me to rank 9, and that opens up a new relic slot. So I could have fought the Golem with stronger units. Not that that mattered, but I could have taken one of those relics instead of just top riding out of that relic shrine. So big waste, a little bit of a mistake, but I guess in the long run it doesn't matter. But for a person like me, not min-maxing like that is frustrating. So I have 32 provisions left. I'm going to follow my pathing on island number 4 and go over and get this scroll. I've not had luck with scrolls today. I keep getting the lousy 400 experience one, or oh my god. So I got the same scroll. I'm up to what, 6 of these now? Get some diversity, Smilegate. Come on, you're killing me. Okay, I've got just enough provisions left where I can go up and hit the Warden. I guess I could have grabbed that treasure chest, but we'll get one on the next island. So this is a Dark Warden, the Blind Eye Lich. And the thing you really need to be aware of with the Blind Eye Lich is that if you take units that are not dark or light, those units will have a minus 15% to speed, attack, and defense. So they're softer, they hit lighter, and they go slower. So ideally you want to try to run an all ML team, all light and dark units. the damage scales up very quickly in this fight, so trying to sustain it, especially with light and dark healers, in my opinion, is a mistake. I thought about running Doris, but instead I'm going to go with Blaze Dingo. I got Conqueror Lilius for the dual attacks. I've got Judge Kisei. Since it's the first hit, I'm going to use Portrait for extra damage. Kisei is my source of defense breaks. Mediator Queric has got attack buffs and barriers, and I'm running a Blaze Dingo on Celestine for extra healing. I picked Blaze Dingo because he does damage and he heals, and I just need to touch up on the healing, because when you get to the point where big heals matter, the Lich is doing so much damage by that point anyway that a big healer is not really going to do much for you. She might, a really good big healer might buy me one extra round, and it's just not worth it point-wise when I can get damage out of Blaze Dingo. So I am 99% sure that Kisei's S1 does more damage than her S2. It's just not AoE. So I'm going to use only her S1s and her S3s. I'll use the S1s for defense break and the S3 for big damage. You can remember you can burn Kisei for extra turns to double strike into defense breaks. We'll get attack buff up here with Mediator Queric. And nobody's really hurt, so I'm going to save the S2 and just do an S1 for a little bit of touch-up healing and some damage. Remember, Blaze Dingo also has defense breaks on his S3 in a pinch. I'm saving Mediator Queric's barriers because I've already got an attack down on the target, and I want to save the barriers for when he's hitting a little harder, because after he hits, you get hit with this pop damage, and that pop damage starts increasing. There's really no reason I shouldn't have used the S2 here, but instead I decided to extend Kisei's attack buff and put some immortality on her, and that's fine, I guess. I just feel like I could have used the S3 or S2 and gotten some extra damage. It would have been a double hit into a defense break, so a little bit of a misplay. Doing pretty good damage with Judge Kisei for just being on a speed build. Judge Kisei has really, really good base stats, so she works good in Ancient Inheritance with the way class enhancements scale up the damage. I saved the S2 because people aren't really hurt that bad. I'm kind of whiffing it a little bit on Blaze Dingo here. His turn cycling is enough that I could have been using his S2 and gotten it back around in time, especially with a soul burn from his S3, gives an extra turn. We'll get Vigor back up on everybody. Now, I'm hurt a little bit, and if the boss hits me, it's going to do a lot of damage, so I'm using the S2 for a barrier since Conqueror Lilius is up front. That'll help protect her. We'll get attack buff reestablished on everybody. Once again, not using his S2 because I have no idea why. Should have done it. Maintaining the defense breaks. Blaze Dingo's doing substantial healing on Celestine, and because of the barrier, I did not take very much damage, but the Lich is starting to really ramp up in damage. I put an attack break on him. I finally get off the pot and use Blaze Dingo's S2. That double strike for a double heal, and that gets my Conqueror Lilius back up to health, but watch how hard the Lich hits with this next attack. You can see the further you go into the fight, the lower your defense goes, the harder it is to stay alive. And we'll soul burn Judge Kisei for some extra damage because I get an extra attack. Now watch this hit. 5k damage to a lot of units that weren't wearing barriers. It's going to start to get difficult to survive. And remember, as soon as the Lich kills somebody, the Lich gets to take an extra turn, which creates a cascade effect of your entire team dying. And I think we see that here. That hit kills Conqueror Lilius, letting the Lich take another turn, and that kills everybody but Mediator Queric. So 600k is about as far as we're going to take it with this team. It's not bad. I mean, it wasn't a terrible run. I think certain things could have run a little bit better. I think I probably would have gotten closer to 700, 750 if I'd cycled Blaze Dingo's skills a little bit more intelligently, but 600k on a floor 3 boss is nothing to sneeze at. I will take it. And that will be the end of the video for today. I will see you guys on Sunday. I hope you have a great weekend, and don't forget to like and subscribe. Have a great one, everybody.